Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Almost Famous. This movie came out in 2000. It is a classic and I have been wanting to watch it and it was on Netflix, so I decided to. I'm not really dressed up for it, I'm sorry, but I didn't really have time, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Almost Famous, like I said, came out in 2000 and it got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, which is pretty fantastic. And this is a really popular movie, and it stars a lot of people actually. It stars Kate Hudson. This was like her breakout role. Frances McDormand, the main guy is Patrick Fugit, and has a bunch of other people like Jimmy Fallon and Zooey Deschanel, and just, it's so funny to see all of these stars and actors and stuff, and a lot of them, it was really before their kind of big break. Overall, it was a really fun movie. For those of you who don't know, it takes place in like the 70s, I'd say early 70s, and it follows this boy named William Miller, and he wants to become like a rock journalist. So he wants to travel and write about different bands and work for one of those magazines that talk about rock, the Rolling Stones for example, and stuff like that. So that's what he wants to do, and it's about his adventure. He's 15 and he ends up getting this job to go and interview this main lead guitarist in one of these bands, and he ends up going on a wild and crazy adventure and meets a lot of interesting people and experiences the life of rock and roll basically. It was also based off a true story as well, for those of you who don't know, so that's pretty amazing. I would say this is a really great movie. There's nothing like super risque in it or anything like that, really. I mean, it is around the time where there were drugs and stuff going on, but you don't see anything really bad. Also, for those of you who are into awards, it did get nominated for Oscars. It got nominated for Best Writing Screenplay. Kate Hudson got nominated for this. Frances McDormand got nominated. So this was a really big movie during this time. My overall opinion, if you haven't guessed already, is that I loved it and it was really great and just a whole lot of fun to watch, and it was just a really entertaining movie. I suggest you go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It is on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, it is accessible to you. So go watch it and then come back, because I'm going to talk about my favorite parts and stuff like that, and I don't want to spoil you because it's a good movie and you shouldn't be spoiled for this one. But anyways, thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't seen it yet, I suggest you leave now, and I'm going to spoil it. So, alright, bye non-spoilery people, peace out. Almost Famous. This movie had so many little parts here and there that were just really fun and really amusing, and I really did fall in love with all the characters. Kate Hudson's character, Penny Lane, was so much fun. She was awesome. And for me personally, I had seen some of the iconic scenes in this already before I actually watched the movie, so I was really excited to see those, and it lived up to expectations. There's this one part where the lead guitarist, he goes up and ends up going to this party with a bunch of people that he doesn't really know, and he ends up taking drugs and everything, and he stands up on this roof and he's about to jump off and go into the pool, and he screams, "I'm a golden god," and then he has to think of last words and he just goes, "I'm on drugs," and it was really funny, and then he jumped, and that was not smart, but it was really great. Then another iconic scene is also when they're on their bus. They're all traveling and then Tiny Dancer comes on by Elton John and they all start breaking out singing, and it was awesome and amazing. And then of course Kate Hudson is like, "You are home." It was different than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I think every movie I watch is different than what I assume it is going to be, because I didn't know what in the world really to expect, I guess, necessarily. And it was just really interesting because the main character is a journalist, but he's taught that you have to be kind of cruel and not let them mess with your mind because rock stars will make you feel cool when you're not so that you'll write a good review on them. And so he has to learn how to deal with that because he really does like this group, but he's also a journalist who's writing for Rolling Stone magazine, and he's got to be truthful and say all of his experiences. The lead guitarist, Russell, and I liked him at the beginning. He seemed kind of funny and charming and nice, and then he ends up getting with Penny Lane, Kate Hudson, and no, he was a jerk to me. I know he's supposed to be like that, and he's supposed to kind of be amended, I guess, in the end, but it didn't work for me because I felt like he should have gotten worse punishment because he ends up becoming super famous through this. He ruins the guy that all of it was completely made up so that Rolling Stones couldn't publish it, and then he really hurt Penny Lane, but he basically sold her to another band for like $50 and a beer. So he's a jerk, and the whole reason he even makes amends is because Penny decides to give him William's address to go there and apologize. So he didn't even take his own initiative with that. He was kind of forced into doing it, and he ends up making amends, but I still don't think, no, he should have had a bigger punishment. Now, Penny Lane was a Band-Aid. That was kind of interesting. She broke her own rules, though. It's like a groupie, sort of, except they claim they follow a specific band because they love their music and love it, and they don't, like, sleep with band members or anything like that, really. And, of course, Penny ends up getting caught in all of that. Ends up making kind of a mess-ish for herself, not necessarily the band. I thought, for some reason, I knew that William was like 15, and Penny, I don't know how old Penny is. I thought they were actually going to end up together, maybe, or she mentioned going to Morocco. I thought they might actually fly away together to Morocco or something like that. She does end up actually flying to Morocco at the very end, but not with him, and I thought she was going to realize that she really liked him and was in love with him and was going to be with him for some strange reason. I don't know. He's too young, though. He's 15 when he does that, so no, he's too young. I just thought they were going to be together. Because, I mean, think about the part with, like, the airplane. She sees him through the window and she looks like she's realizing something, and then she's like, oh, I'm watching you as I fly away. Goodbye. And they didn't end up getting together, and that kind of made me a little bit sad. And there were just a lot of interesting dynamics in this. I always loved it every single time I saw an actor who was a smaller part, but he knew who he was. Like, I had no idea that Philip Seymour Hoffman was in this, and he was a bigger part-ish. He was William's mentor. Also, there was Jimmy Fallon. He ends up being the manager. Okay, their first manager sucked, by the way. Both managers actually really sucked. We need to get better managers in movies. It's to create conflict, but movie managers, no. Bands shouldn't have those because they do something wrong. At least it wasn't Paul Giamatti this time. But I did love that it was Jimmy Fallon who ended up being the new manager, which was really funny just to see him randomly. That also happened with Zooey Deschanel because she's William's sister, and it was just so funny. The dynamic between her and Frances McDormand, who's her mom, it was great because you have Frances McDormand, who's this very strict, like, no rock and roll, don't do any of this stuff, don't take drugs type of thing. And then you have the daughter, who's actually not really that bad of a daughter. She's actually going to be a stewardess, but her mom acts like she's committing a giant crime. It's so weird. Like, Frances McDormand's character is just kind of contradictory-ish. She lets her son go on this journey with this band, and she's like, you know, you can't take drugs, you can't miss a test, you can't, you know, miss graduation, and he ends up doing all those things, of course. Well, except for the drugs. He didn't take the drugs. Good job, William. Because you don't expect the mom to let him do that, and then she ends up actually letting him do that, which is weirdness. The scene in the airplane with the airplane about to crash and everything, that was great. That's a great time to tell the truth, everybody. You have everybody telling these big truths, and you just have this one random dude that's like, I'm gay. and then like all of them are silent, like what? And then the plane ends up being okay, and you can just see the look on his face of like, why did I say that? That's basically really all I have to say about this movie. It was really, really great and a whole lot of fun to watch. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's not like a movie that's gonna make you cry or anything like that. And it's more, I'd say it leans more towards comedic, but it's like, it's 50-50. It's just fun and a refreshing and relaxing movie to watch. And it's not too like inappropriate or anything like that for those of you who are concerned about that stuff. Anyways, that's all I really have to say. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry I didn't dress up again. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any other movie recommendations or book recommendations, please leave them in the comments below because I will check them out and I will watch them and I will read them and love them and enjoy them, hopefully, or dislike them for some reason if you wanted me to watch a really bad movie. Don't make me watch a really bad movie or read a horrible book, please. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time of the day it is, and enjoy life. Alright, have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this. Watch Almost Famous. Bye!